The stranger's call. It was a night like any other, or so I thought. I was curled up on the couch, scrolling through my phone, lost in my usual routine. The world outside was quiet, and I could hear the faint sound of crickets chirping through the window. I wasn't expecting anything extraordinary to happen that night, but life has a funny way of throwing surprises when you least expect them. Suddenly, my phone buzzed in my hand. It was a call from an unknown number. Normally, I wouldn't answer, but something about that moment made me curious. Maybe it was the boredom, or maybe there was something deeper pulling me toward the unknown. Without much thought, I swiped the screen and answered the call. "Hello," I said, my voice unsure. There was a brief pause on the other end, followed by a deep, smooth voice that sent chills down my spine. "I hope I'm not disturbing you. I know it's late, but I couldn't wait any longer." For a second, I thought it was a prank. I didn't recognize the voice, and the way he spoke seemed almost too intentional, too practiced. But there was something about the tone, calm yet intense, that made me stay on the line. "Who is this?" I asked, my curiosity growing with each passing second. He chuckled softly. "Let's just say I know you better than you think, and tonight everything changes." My heart raced. I didn't know if I should hang up or keep listening, but his words gripped me. He had an air of mystery that I couldn't ignore, and the tension in the air felt almost electric. "You don't know me," I replied, but even as I said it, a part of me wanted to believe him. There was something familiar about his voice, but I couldn't place it. "You'll find out soon enough," he said, his voice dropping lower, making my skin tingle. "Tonight, I'm going to change everything." Before I could respond, the call ended. I stared at the phone, my mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. Who was this stranger? How did he know me? And what did he mean by changing everything? I couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to happen. It was as if the call had awakened a part of me I didn't even know existed. I tried to go back to my normal routine, but my mind kept replaying his voice, the promise hidden in his words. The night dragged on, and I found myself unable to sleep. I tossed and turned, my thoughts consumed by the stranger's voice. Then, just as I was starting to drift off, there was a knock at my door. I froze. It was almost midnight. No one ever came to my house at this hour. My heart pounded in my chest as I cautiously made my way to the door. When I opened it, there was no one there, but on the ground I saw a small black envelope. My hand shook as I picked it up. There was no name, no address, just my door and this mysterious letter. I hesitated for a moment before opening it. Inside was a simple note, written in elegant handwriting. "Meet me where we first met. Midnight tomorrow." My heart skipped a beat. Where we first met. I didn't know this person, yet the words tugged at a memory I couldn't quite grasp. Something deep inside me knew this was important, something I couldn't ignore. The next day was a blur. I couldn't focus on anything. The call, the note, it all felt like a dream. But as the day turned into evening, I knew I had to go. I had to find out who this stranger was and what he wanted from me. When midnight arrived, I found myself standing at the place that the note had hinted at. It was an old park, a place I hadn't visited in years. The moonlight cast long shadows on the ground, and the air was cool and still. My heart was racing as I waited, unsure of what was about to happen. Then, out of the darkness, he appeared. Tall, with a confident stride, his face partially hidden by the shadows. But as he got closer, I could see him clearly, and my breath caught in my throat. It was him, the stranger from my past. "You," I whispered, barely able to find my voice. "But how?" He smiled, a slow, knowing smile that sent shivers down my spine. "I told you tonight, everything changes." Before I could respond, he stepped closer, his eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made it impossible to look away. There was a magnetic pull between us, something I couldn't explain, but felt deep in my bones. "I've waited a long time for this moment," he said softly, his voice wrapping around me like a warm blanket. "And now that you're here, there's no turning back." Without thinking, I reached for him, my fingers trembling as they brushed against his hand. The moment we touched, it was like a spark ignited between us, a heat that spread through my entire body. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. There was only him and the undeniable connection between us. "You always felt it, didn't you?" he asked, his voice low and seductive. "Even if you didn't understand it, you knew there was something more." I nodded, unable to speak. I had felt it, this strange pull, this longing for something I couldn't explain. And now, standing here with him, it all made sense. He pulled me closer, his hands sliding to the back of my neck as he leaned in. My heart raced, my breath quickened, and then his lips were on mine. The kiss was like nothing I had ever experienced before, hot, intense, and filled with a passion that consumed me. It was as if the world around us disappeared, and there was only him, only this moment. When we finally pulled apart, I was breathless, my body trembling with a desire I had never known before. He smiled again, that same knowing smile, and whispered, "This is just the beginning." From that night on, everything changed. He became a part of my life in ways I never expected. He was both mysterious and familiar, a stranger who felt like home. We spent nights talking, exploring each other's minds and bodies, losing ourselves in the passion that burned between us. But there was always something more, something he wasn't telling me. I could feel it in the way he looked at me, in the way he touched me, as if there was a secret hidden behind every kiss, every whisper. One night, as we lay together, I finally asked him, "Who are you really? Why did you come into my life?" He looked at me, his eyes dark and intense, and for a moment I thought he wouldn't answer. But then he spoke, his voice soft but filled with a weight that made my heart stop. "I came back for you," he said, "because you're the one I could never forget." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Everything fell into place, the late night call, the mysterious note, the undeniable connection we shared. He wasn't just a stranger. He was someone from my past, someone I had loved and lost, someone who had returned to rewrite our story. And in that moment, I realized that he had done more than changed my life. He had given me a second chance at love, at happiness, at everything I had ever wanted, but was too afraid to reach for. As we lay there, tangled in each other's arms, I knew that my life would never be the same. Because sometimes all it takes is one night, one call from a stranger, to change everything. And if you're still reading this, I know you're feeling the suspense, the heat, the intensity of what happened to me. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, because trust me, there's so much more to come. You won't want to miss it.